Okay, guys, this is a new video for today. I'm going to be putting up two videos today, as far as I know. Maybe more if I can get to them. But anyways, um, I told some of the viewers and subscribers a while ago, because I've been starting to get a few points from different nappers in the community, and I was going to told everybody I was going to put together a frame of uh, flint nappers in their and some of their work to display in my little collection here. So what I did is I emptied out this frame. It's a Rinker frame, by the way. These are cardboard frames. You can see there's indentations. There used to be arrowheads in here at one time. So we're going to make this into my Masters of Flint Knapping frame. Um, I could put the Jack Crafty points from my auction winnings in here, but they're in their own separate frame, which I'll show at the end if I remember. And we'll go from there. But anyhow, I'm going to show you a little bit about what I do to set up a frame. Now, it doesn't matter if it's a Rinker cardboard frame, cardboard and glass frame like this, or if it's a, geez, that's a bit dirty, but we'll clean that later. I'm not going to do that in the video. Um, or if you're doing a wood frame. I used to have a lot of wood frames. I still have some of my better pieces in my collection are in wood frames. However, the the place that I used to go, which was, I think it was Indian Creek or Indian River frame supplies. Uh, they were a company out of, I think, Ohio or Indiana, and they used to make beautiful frames, wood frames, oak, cherry, black walnut, whatever you wanted, you could get it in that. So I did believe they might have gone out of business because I tried looking them up and they weren't there. So anyhow, as you can see, I took the lid to these are pinned in. There's pins that come into the edges of the box or edges of the frame. So we'll take these pins, these 4 pins. They're very important. You don't want to lose those. So I'm going to put those someplace off to the side, safe. Now, sometimes there's like a padding in here in these frames. This one in particular has this cotton batting in there. This is all this is it takes up space in the frame so that the arrowheads or whatever you put in there won't um how do I say it? They won't move around in that. Actually, we could use this underneath. So what we're going to do, let me get this in order here. This little foam pad is usually what comes with these Rinker frames, and it's pretty thin. If you put some thicker points in there, they're going to stay put, but all your thinner stuff is going to slide around. So the secret to setting up a frame for putting artifacts in, or your own flint knapping items, is to build up the foam or the cushioning in the frame so that your thin points will stay put and your thicker ones will stay put also. So what I use for that, you can get these sheets of foam like that came with this. You can get those, but if you don't have them, what I do is I use this stuff, polyester fiber fill, same stuff they use for putting in pillows and that sort of thing. So what I do is I pull a bit of this out and I put it in a frame like that. Just kind of spread it in clumps. Just get some blobs in there. Just like that. And that might be enough. We'll put this bag off to the side. And then what I do is I go through and I tear this stuff apart, kind of. I kind of want to spread it around and get it all cushioned out. And what this is going to do, this is going to build up the bottom. This is going to build up the underlying foundation of the frame so that all your points are on a kind of a squishy surface and they're going to stay put. I seen a video of a guy a couple of weeks ago that had his arrowheads in a frame and he put Velcro on it, on the back of his points. He had that peel and stick Velcro. Don't do that. if it's an authentic artifact, you're going to leave that gummy, gluey, messy crap on your point in your frame. And somewhere down the road, you might want to try and trade some of your points for better points. So if you got that gluey residue on there, it's kind of a no-go for people that might be interested in buying something or buying your work. If you make arrowheads, they're gonna that could be a turn off. So this method that I'm showing you works probably better than anything. And I've got, like I said, a lot of frames of arrowheads and artifacts in there. So I kind of do this all the time. So now what we're going to do is kind of fill in some of these little areas that are little voids. You know, just throw some little pieces of this squishy pillow fill in there. So you're going to get that all in there. Going to kind of look and see if you got any low spots like right in here. Put a little bit of that right there in there. Okay, that should be good right there. So next we're going to put this foam layer down, because when you put your felt in there, the problem you're going to run into is that without something like this foam, it's going to show on there. I don't know if I'm going to use this cotton stuff. I may just use that to ship something. So now we got to get some color in here. I don't like something like this that has a just a white background to it. So what I did is I went to Joann Fabrics, Frank's Nursery and Crafts. If you remember those, I don't think there's any of those around anymore. They were around back in the 70s when I was growing up as a kid. But any craft store or fabric store like Joann Fabrics, Hobby Lobby, Frank's Nursery and Crafts, if you have one of those, or Ben Franklin, I think, is another craft store that sells sewing supplies and fabric. But this is just a felt. You can buy like 1 or 2 yards of this and it'll last you a while. But it comes in different colors. I generally like the burgundy color for arrowhead frames. So I'm not going to unroll this because I saved a little bit of time and I already cut one of these out. I traced it with a marker and I cut it out. And as you can see, it's a pretty good match. The only thing I got to do is maybe cut this little bit off on this line. So we're going to cut this little bit off here. And how I measure this is I take the felt and I lay it flat on the table and I put the frame on top, kind of center it close to the edge so I don't get a bunch of little strips like this hanging off there. And then I take and trace it with a marker with the bottom of the frame. Trace it with a marker, and then I put the frame away, and I'll and then I start cutting it out. So you can see that's a pretty nice looking fit right there. So we're gonna try putting the top on and see if we can still close this pretty easily. Now you want to be careful. You don't want to put too much cushion in there, because I've had points that I've actually broken because I had it too much. But this looks pretty good right here. It's got a good amount of tension on there. So I get this lid off. And what we are going to put in here, I probably could have, if I really had some OCD kicking in, I probably would have taken this felt and put it under an ironing board and iron some of the wrinkles out. But I think the wrinkles will come out when it's actually attached up or whatever. So now we got to find what we're actually going to put in here. And without further ado, it should be in here. Now I was thinking of putting this in there. Sal sent me this. It's a flake. It's a bird looking flake. I may put this in here, but I'm going to keep it in this box for right now, just to keep it safe with the little note from Sal. So I'm not going to put that in here right now. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But what I will do is I'm going to put in these points that Sal sent to me. And I got some other points coming from other nappers. Just people are saying, oh, I need your address, Ralph. Um, yeah, just hit me up either on one of my videos or on the live stream with Patrick, and I'll give Patrick the okay to give out my address. So anyways, here's our frame. Got the felt in there all nice. And we got a couple of points, beautiful points that Sal had made me a couple weeks back, probably almost a month ago. This is so beautiful. So now you just got to arrange where you want that in the frame. What I'm kind of thinking is I kind of want to put this kind of in a special corner in like Sal's part of the frame. I may not be able to do that because there's this beautiful point that he made, and he signed it. Something I got to do. I got a couple points to send out to Mr. Alan Cole, and I got to find a little thin line Sharpie marker to do that with. Okay, and then this is the other point that Sal sent me. Nice, beautiful piece of root beer, Texas root beer flint. Very translucent. God, that flashlight's pretty damn bright. But yeah, beautiful translucent Texas root beer. This is a Toya point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can move this frame. Maybe see if I can get up in this corner here. And maybe I can put them like that. Maybe I'll put Sal's stuff in that corner like that. I'll work on something like that. Either that or I can do it like a design like that. I think for right now, I'm going to put these kind of like this. Maybe in this corner. Let me see. That's the other thing you got to do. When you set up a frame like this, when you close the frame, you got to make sure that that the frame itself doesn't go over and cover up the points. You want them to be nice and safe. So now I can kind of see where I got to go. So I'm going to lift this up. I'm probably going to move this one a little over. I'm going to move this one more into the corner like that. And I'm going to probably set this one here. And I'm going to check it, put some pressure on it and see how they fit right there. See how they look. And that looks pretty good right there. So maybe we'll do it that way. I'm thinking that maybe that's what we'll do for right now. I may adjust or change this around a little bit, but that's I think what we're going to do. So now to put tension on this, we got to put these pins back in the holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here and squeeze and tip this up and push the pin. There's little holes in the bottom of this, there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both of these pins on the top, and hopefully that'll keep these from sliding around. See, so I got those in. So that's putting those pins in up there. That's going to put tension on the points themselves. So now we switch it around. We're going to squeeze up here. See, there's a little hole right there. That's where a pin goes. So we're going to run a pin through here. And that's going to help keep tension on all of that. So none of these points are going to slide around. That's the whole reason I build up to some of the cushioning in there. That with that pillow fill, because it builds that up. And as you can see, you can, let me get this back in the frame. See, you can shake this, and those aren't going anywhere. They're right there. They're perfect. And I think that I'll keep them in that location in the frame for now. And as you can see, guys and gals, it's a frame that's fully empty. So as I get more stuff to put in here, it's going to fill up. And I know Scott Lauer from England is sending me some I think some preforms and some little tabs of that bullhead flint, and I think they're sending me a couple of finished points. So those will go in this frame also as well. And let me see if I can find Patrick's frame. So this is my Patrick frame of winnings from the auctions right here. Ooh, that's a lot of glare there. Dang. Okay, but that's the frame of stuff that I've gotten from Patrick lately in the auctions. This is my whole Patrick Jack Crafty napping frame here. So eventually I may put some of these back in his frame, but I've got so much of Patrick's stuff that everybody else's would just get lost in there. So this is so far what I've kept that in. And as you can see, they don't move around in there. That's the thing. It's a secret. Always never put Velcro on the back of your points and stick it on the felt, because then the Velcro will pull at the felt and you'll get all that fuzzy red or whatever color in there, and it's not a good look. So, and like I said, if you're putting like real arrowheads that you find in there with Velcro on them, you're going to get that gluey residue on there, and nobody wants that. If you ever decide to trade or sell points that you found for something else that somebody else has, they're not going to like that residue and that icky stuff on there. And here is a small rinker frame, and the wife and I went down to Aurora, North Carolina. It's right near the coast, but it's not on the coast. And there's a fossil museum there, and you can dig these shark's teeth. They got all kinds of different size shark's teeth. Even teeth up as big as megalodon teeth can be found right out across the street from the Aurora Fossil Museum. They get the tailings from a phosphate mine that's in the area, and they dump these piles, and then you can dig through and find shark's teeth. So since we found this many shark's teeth last year, digging in those fossil pits, I just made together a small frame, and I did blue felt instead. But you can see none of these are sliding around. They're all nice and tight in there. And got a stingray tooth right there. I think that might be a stingray tooth. And then some of these are baby bull shark teeth, and I think reef sharks, similar to like the black-tipped reef shark. And we found a couple of these skinny ones. I'm not sure if those are snaggletooth teeth or not, but if we get down there again, we're going to go do some digging in Aurora fossil pits and find some more shark's teeth. Hopefully we get some bigger ones, and then I'll have to put a bigger frame together as I get more of them and I get more interesting points. But you see, you can display a lot of different things in these little rinker frames. They're pretty affordable too, because they're cardboard and glass. But if you want to invest into the wood frames, those are nice. But the same process, if you want to build up, if you don't have enough foam backing in there to put the tension on whatever item you're putting in there, you can always use that pillow fill like I showed you. And it works really good. Damn, that glare is terrible. So anyhow, just wanted to do a video on how I set up a frame and how I would put things in. And you can put your arrowheads, or the stuff you've been flint napping. You can arrange it in a frame any way you want. I just kind of did this. Now, these may not be in the same spot as I get more stuff. I may have things that are thicker, and I may have to put the thicker stuff in a certain area and then let the thinner stuff kind of radiate around, because obviously anything thicker, a thicker point or a thicker item is going to compress down, and it's going to take away some of the tension from the other stuff around it. So if you got thinner pieces, they'll slide around and bang into each other and get broken. So anyhow, hope you like that. And Sal, you are the first one in this frame. Your points are the first ones. I may flip these around so the signatures are on there, but this particular point, I like that little inclusion, that little meth pocket right there. So I don't know I can't remember if it's on the other side, but I'll put them in there like that for now. And like I said, as as I get more stuff from different auctions or donations from other nappers or whatever, I'd be more than glad to put together a frame like that. And if they're signed, that's even better, because then I can keep track, and I'll probably flip some of them over so everybody's signature can be seen on there. But anyhow, hope you enjoyed this one. It's I kind of speeded up and did some of the steps ahead of time so it would go a little quicker. So anyways, like, share, subscribe, comment, everything else, and I'll see you on the next one, and see you guys in the live streams on Patrick's channel and anybody else's live streams. It'd be nice to see some of the other community have live streams also. They seem to be a lot of fun, and it's great camaraderie for all of us in the community. So anyways, I'll see you later, and peace out.